As we all start to think about travelling again and going on holiday, it's been really important that we get the chance to listen to your views and to understand your concerns. One of the main concerns that's emerged has been travel insurance, and specifically, is a cover available for COVID-19? So, I contacted 5 of the major travel insurance companies and asked them for an interview to discuss their travel insurance policies. Only one got back to me, and that was StaySure, and their founder and CEO, Ryan Howsam, was happy to be interviewed. So sit back, grab a coffee, and watch the interview where I ask Ryan all the questions you've been asking us. I hope Ryan's answers provide you with the reassurance that you need and that they're helpful when you're starting to look for travel insurance for your next holiday.
So Ryan is the CEO and the founder of StaySure, a company that he started back in 2004. It's since grown to be the UK's #1 travel insurer, and it specialises in offering cover for travellers with pre-existing medical conditions. Do you mind me asking, Ryan, how you started up a travel insurance company?
Wow, it's a long time ago. It was 2005, actually.
All right.
I had a travel-related business, and I also had a 2-for-1 golf program, which I'd sold into Club Card and so on. It's a Tesco Club Card.
Yeah.
And JJB Sport asked me, they like this 2-for-1 golf product, and they asked, could I do golf insurance? And I thought, probably. So I went and got some underwriting and managed to put a deal together. And because I had a travel-related business, I thought, why don't I just change this this technology into travel insurance? And that's how I started. So it was a bit of an entrepreneurial move. You'll know, being a business owner and an entrepreneur, this is how things happen. So that was that. And that's grown to be, by quite some margin, the market leader in travel insurance, not just in the demographic of people with medical conditions and the older consumer, but across the board, it's miles bigger than anybody.
Yes. And how are you coping at the moment? How's the travel market coping in this kind of current crisis?
Well, we're doing okay, actually, but it's interesting that I've seen interviews with other leaders in this area, some of my competitors, who say that they'll be doing no travel insurance sales until probably July or August. Well, we are doing thousands a month, so we are selling right now, and the reason we're selling is that we've managed to adapt to the environment and do things in a different way to others, and perhaps you can talk about that. We're okay, but we are the market leader, and we've got a big database of customers that still want to be covered for what the future may hold.
I think I was saying earlier, we've been doing surveys. So we've been doing small focus group surveys, and we've been doing larger surveys. And again, there's been 3 issues kind of coming out, or 3 main concerns we have from our guests. The first one has been travel insurance. The second one has been flying, and also the third one's been the quarantine restrictions. And again, most of the guests are saying to us they're really concerned that getting travel insurance for future holidays is going to be very expensive, and it's going to be really difficult. Is that your view?
Well, we don't know the real landscape of it. So as a travel insurer, we have to make sure that the underwriting works, and so it's highly likely that prices will increase. It's only logical if you think about it. But one of the things we're saying to customers now is buy your travel insurance now, because prices will increase. It's inevitable that they're going to increase. But we've been very flexible in the way that we're operating, and we've really led the market. And there's people that try to copy what we've done. So, for example, one of those is that we've offered 15 months for the price of 12 on an AMT, which gets over a 3-month annual multi-trip, which gets over a 3-month window. And we don't know what disruption is going to happen in the future. So if you've already got a policy with us, we will change dates. So that that's a good thing. So I would say get your insurance now before the prices rise. Now, we are the market leader, and we're not just going to exponentially increase prices just for the sake of it.
Mm.
But you know, I would imagine in the magnitude of 5 to 10%.
Right. So yeah, but still, the most important thing is there's obviously travel insurance is available, and people can, if they're looking to book holidays, there's policies available to give them that kind of peace of mind when they're looking at it. When they're looking at the travel insurance policy, what would be your suggestions? What are the most important things to look for to make sure they've got a policy that just gives them complete peace of mind?
Well, first of all, we've led the market with bringing COVID cover for medical in resort. And I think we'll probably lead the market by extending that to the cancellation piece in time. We haven't got there yet, but we will do. So, I mean, I think that's incredibly important. Having a fully comprehensive policy, probably more so, especially now. So I'd be doing that. But, I think consumers need to be very, very wary. We are incredibly well priced, but sometimes you see pricing out there which is not justified, and I think that this market is going to wheedle out these. So you'll have consumers going onto price comparison websites, for example, and there'll be a company that they've not heard of. You'll have people that will be putting up pricing. They've got a very small operation. They really don't care about the consumer in the way that we do. And when it really comes down to it, when you have to claim is the moment of truth.
Yeah.
This is the point. So I would say the biggest thing is be very, very, very wary of a cheap price, because you've got to ask yourself the question, how can they be so much cheaper? It's not that we're making so much more money. It's that we understand what it costs to medically cover somebody in the right way. And what I would say is, if a policy is cheaper, and we are very well priced, so don't take that to mean we're expensive, we're not. But if it is, you've got to ask yourself the question, how are they going to cope when there's a problem?
Yeah.
And the reality is, we pay out millions and millions, but probably the larger of the claims will pay several claims per year, well over a couple of 100,000. So you might make a 10, 15 pound policy saving, but the risk element is so much greater. So I think the biggest thing you need to be aware of is really, really check up on the company. I mean, you'll see from our Trustpilot reviews, we've got over 100,000 5-star reviews. We get those because we do things the right way. And we don't always get it right, nobody can always get it right, but we really do genuinely put the customer at the forefront of what we do. And that's, the brand ethos is worth doing right. And if it's worth doing, it's worth doing right. And that includes claims and the policy and so on.
And we have a lot of guests at Flavours who are, over 65, 70, and a lot of them do have pre-existing medical conditions. And I know we have a lot of conversations with guests who are really keen to go on holiday, but they're just really concerned about travel insurance. And again, there's a perception that actually it's going to be much more expensive because we've got. How would you reassure them?
Well, as I say, I think it is going to be more expensive. And that's going to be justified because there's probably going to be more claims, but I wouldn't say substantially more. So my guesstimate would be a 5 to 10%.
Right.
But one of the other things they can do, if they're concerned about the cost with us, is we can spread that cost over 12 months for them.
Right. I think my only other question was, have you got any holiday plans this year?
Yeah, well, I'm fortunate that I'm in London sometimes, but I'm in southern Spain and Gibraltar. So I've just now got back here, but I'm planning to go to either Lake Como or Lake Garda later this year. Yeah, so I'm definitely travelling, and I have a pre-existing medical condition, so I understand that that some of the concerns that people have, but I think the British are so resilient, and and I also think, this thing that the government's got in terms of with the FCO, I mean, there is one thing to bear in mind. The FCO, when you're getting your travel insurance, it won't be valid until the government say that the country is safe to travel to. But it's bizarre to me that if you look at the UK, it's worse than
Yeah.
particularly Europe. So I think that'll change very, very soon.
Yeah, no, that's another. Yeah, don't
yeah.
get me on that rant.
but I think, you know, if we're safe, we wear a mask, we take the hand gels, you know, we do the things that we do and be safe, and just be a little bit careful. I don't see why it's any more risky being abroad, as long as, you know, you check what the airline is doing and how they're dealing with COVID, and as long as they're being responsible, then I think the risks aren't any more than being at home. So yeah,
and I think after all this, we're all needing a holiday.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's great. Thank you so much. That's been really, really useful, and I think it's exactly what our guests are needing to hear, because it's definitely a big worry. That's super. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay.